guys, happy Wine Wednesday or happy Hump Day, whichever one you prefer, because I like options. So, welcome to Midday Missing, where I cover current missing person cases. I am Teri True Crime. For those of you that are not familiar with me, are new here, I am half of the True Crime and Wine Time podcast team. JT is my better half. Currently, True Crime and Wine Time Productions produces the podcast True Crime and Wine Time, The Hey Ho Show, The Investigation into the Disappearance of Chase Lackey, Night Court, and Midday Missing. So we stream live several days a week. So be sure to subscribe to our page on YouTube so that you don't miss anything. And it looks like we have the fabulous JT joining us in the audience today. Hi, JT. And hello, everybody else. And several of you have asked about Jasper. He is healing nicely. He's currently laying in a crate right next to me, sleeping, which, to be honest, I'm kind of thankful he's resting because he keeps trying to scratch those horns. And he needs to stop that because it's making mama nervous. Now, for those of you that joined me on Monday, those cases were very heavy. I got very angry. Today's not quite as much, but I do get a little irritated with the media on this. And I am going to apologize right up front that I am going to slaughter this next last name. But hey, I'm trying. Amanda DeGuio, DeGuio, was 24 at the time she went missing. Now, first thing I have to say is really, people, when you Google her name, the first thing that came up in my search was her name along with this headline. Amanda DeGuio is a known heroin addict and may suffer from bipolar disorder. Really, people? That's what you're going to lead with. How many people would see that clip and just keep scrolling? Sadly, many. However, I'm not many. I'm unique. I'm extra, as my best friend says. I kept digging. And the more I dug, I found an article that says foul play is suspected in her disappearance and human trafficking is suspected. Okay. It also goes on to say she previously struggled with heroin addictions, not that she's currently using. So, reporters and media, please do not lead with that crap. Okay. Instead, let's try this. Amanda DeGuio went missing on June 3rd, 2014, from Upper Darby, Pennsylvania. She left her house, leaving her cell phone and other personal belongings behind. Amanda is the mother of two beautiful girls who wants their mom back. Okay. How about we start with that instead of the other crap? Now, Amanda did not drive, and police are not sure if she left on foot or with someone. Now, guys, we're going to find out. Even saying she was a heroin addict is maybe not true. Amanda's mom told a reporter that Amanda was a very social girl in high school and was a wonderful but young mother to her two young daughters. Her mom said she complained about pain in her right breast just days before her second daughter was born. Okay, her breasts were hugely swollen when she went to the emergency room. They sent her home and told her to put a bag of frozen peas on it. Really? That's what they told her to do. I mean, I get it. Maybe they thought her milk was coming in. She was getting ready to go into labor. I don't know. She wound up giving birth on May 27th to her daughter. And when she was released from the hospital with the new baby, she was still in pain. Guys, the very next day, she wound up in the emergency room. Amanda was diagnosed with flesh-eating disease, which required her to have 3 surgeries and the loss of more than half of her breast tissues. Guys, that's a big deal. She was in such pain, and after the surgeries, she was on a morphine drip for a couple of weeks and was on Percocet for 3 months. So, guys, you probably all know where this is going because it's sadly very uncommon. Back then, this was happening and it still happens. She was overprescribed the opioid and she became addicted, which led to her drug addiction. The family said until she went missing, they never heard or knew anything about heroin, and they do not know for a fact that she had ever used heroin. They do know that she was abusing Percocet and she was buying them on the street. Okay. Guys, that is a big difference than the headlines saying she's a heroin addict. Okay. You don't lead with that when somebody is missing. Also, the doctors have some accountability in this, and so do the manufacturers, which, we've seen there's documentaries out there, but just throwing that out there, I can only imagine how many people are like, oh, yeah, she's probably off getting drugs. She deserved it, right? They don't know the whole story. Okay. The family had just recently returned from a trip to Disney, and that Amanda was looking for a job and a babysitter for her girls. Next thing they know, she was missing. Okay. Amanda knew she had a problem, wanted to get better. She asked her mom for help. Okay. Everything I read, her family said that was hard for her to ask for help. So the fact that she asked for help says a lot. Okay. She was scheduled for a doctor's appointment to get a full physical, and there was talk about her checking into a rehab. Like I said, she was asking for help. Okay. Her mom said on the morning of June 3rd, she was leaving for work and she asked Amanda, hey, could you bring in the suitcases from the trip? Apparently, they leave them outside after they unpack them to air out, and also to do laundry from the trip and a couple of other items as she left for work. She had no clue that that was going to be the last time she possibly saw her daughter. Okay. Her mother tried to call her all day and never reached her. And when she got home that night, Amanda still was not home. And she said, even during the height of her addiction on the Percocet, Amanda still let her family know that she was okay and made sure her girls were okay. So if her mom called her, she would tell her mom, hey, I don't want to deal with life right now. Just leave me alone, but I'm okay. So she at least gave them that. So this is very unusual for her. Also, she did not pack any clothes. She did not do the laundry. She left all of her personal items behind when she disappeared. Okay. There has been 0 sightings of Amanda since her mom last saw her as she was leaving for work on a normal day. Now, the family has set up a Facebook page called Help Find Amanda DeGuio. So please go like the page, share with your network. I also want to ask all of you, do not write off a missing person just because they have a history of drug addiction. Learn the whole story. We should not judge people for having crisis in their lives because that is just rude. It could happen to any of us. Okay. Especially knowing she got addicted because of a medical crisis. Guys, that's a big deal. So everybody should know that it can happen to anyone. So learn the whole story. If you have any information regarding Amanda DeGuio, please call the FBI at 215-418-4000. Guys, not a lot to find on that case, but I wanted to cover it because it's heartbreaking. And I think the reason you can't find as much is because people see that a headline, drug addict, heroin, and they just keep going. So please share that with your network and get the word out there. Okay. Now, my next case is interesting, saddening, and frustrating all in one. And I'm going to try really hard to not go on a rant about why we can't compel people to talk because I still do not freaking understand it. Okay. Dawnita Wilkerson would be 48 years old today. Dawnita was last seen on June 21st, 2020 at 8:16 p.m. at an Evansville, Indiana motel next to a silver-colored Chevy Suburban alongside a black man in a white ball cap. I will tell y'all, I found the person's name in a couple of places. I'm not going to share it. And the reason I'm not going to share it, I didn't find the police saying the name. I found it in some other places. So I don't want to just throw his name out there. But I will tell you, the man has been identified. He has refused to cooperate with the police. Once again, what in the hell? I don't understand how you can be the last person seen with somebody who goes missing and that you have the right to not say anything. I just don't get it, guys. I just don't get it. Anyway, her family reported her missing after she didn't call her mother or her daughters. Police believe that Dawnita was driven into southern Illinois due to the fact her phone pinged in that direction, and her phone was shut off by the next morning. Okay. Now, it has been reported that Dawnita was afraid for her life around the time she went missing. She had been receiving threatening messages from two different men. One she had previously had an on and off relationship with, and one was his family member. The morning before she disappeared, she had texted a friend saying she was with both of the men at that moment. Okay. One of the men was the guy standing next to her in that Chevy Suburban. He was the on off again boyfriend. Okay. Dawnita was a mother of 6, her oldest child being 26 at the time she went missing, and her youngest were twins who were just 15. Now, Dawnita was just coming out of a rough patch when she went missing. Okay. She had some issues in life. We're just going to say she went down a dark path and there was some issues. Okay. But she had recently found an apartment. She was getting ready to start school to become a medical assistant. Okay. And she had dealt with some medical issues that got in the way. And she had been in an abusive relationship with that unknown person. But life was starting to look brighter for her. She had turned the corner. Okay. Now, one of her friends shared copies of text messages that Dawnita screenshotted, sent with her. Okay. Sent to her. Sorry, I don't know if y'all hear that. The nurse just got here to see mother in law, and Double H was walking her back. So sorry if you heard all that. But she took a screenshot and sent it to her friend. The text said, "I'll kill you and they'll never find your body." Guys, why didn't they compel the guy to talk for sending threatening messages? Why didn't they charge him with that? Okay, not going to go on that. So, on the last day Dawnita was seen, she had asked one of her daughters if her old boyfriend could get her a gun. However, the daughter said, "No, Mom, I don't talk to that dude anymore." So it's a no. So, guys, that tells me she was scared of someone if she was looking for a gun. Okay. Women do not just randomly ask their daughters, "Hey, do you know someone to help me get a gun?" That tells you she was scared. Okay. She didn't live in Texas where people like me have a gun all the time. So that tells you a lot. The man who she was last seen with in that vehicle, police asked him to let them see the vehicle. He said he couldn't. It had been stolen. Yeah, guys. He said it had been stolen. To date, that vehicle has not been seen. And remember, she was on video with that man and that card. So that is pretty darn sus to me. Okay. And police checked out the location of where he said the car was stolen from. Police did not find any evidence that a car had been stolen. There was no broken glass. There is no tire marks. I don't know what else you look for in a stolen car, but there was nothing. Okay. Now, once again, that stinks to high heaven to me. And the fact that he refused to talk to the police and try to help find this woman. He was with her the day she went missing. Okay. Police did not have enough evidence against the man to get a search warrant to search his home. And they tried and he refused. Okay. Now, once again, he sent threatening text messages saying, I'm going to kill you and they'll never find your body. Somebody please help educate me. Why could you not get a warrant based on that? That is some type of evidence. I mean, even if it was in the heat of passion that he sent that, to me, that should be enough for at least a search warrant. And the fact you tie that with the fact that he was seen with her that last day. Okay. Now, this next thing really is going to tip the scale. One of the man's family member told one of Dawnita's daughters that Dawnita deserved it. What the fuck, guys? How can anyone say that to a family member who's missing their loved one? I mean, that's cold hearted to the core. And how do you say that to a person's daughter? Hey, by the way, your mother deserved whatever she got. I don't know about you, but somebody needs to be investigating that man. I will tell y'all, if you go to Reddit and read, you can find his name. And then I found another blog with the guy's name, both of their names. I did not want to put it out there because I couldn't find it on any police reports, but you can go and find it because somebody needs to. I mean, that is just BS. It kind of reminds me of the Kimberly Langwell case that I mentioned the other day, which was episode 2 of True Crime and Wine Time when we first came out. That was the first missing person case I covered because I remembered it from growing up. I was able to find the man, the ex-boyfriend that everybody kind of thought did it, kind of like in this case. All of these years later, they just arrested the guy and they found remains underneath his driveway. And they're testing those. This so reminds me of what Dawnita happened. He's refusing to talk. He was the last one seen with her. And somebody in your family tells her daughter she deserved it. All of you need to be investigated. Okay. Now, the last time the family saw Dawnita was Sunday, June 21st. She was staying with her brother and she walked out and she goes, Hey guys, running out, running, do some errands. I will be back. They never saw her again. The next visual was her on the video at that hotel. So her family wants her home and is seeking justice. Police say this is still an active investigation. I will say that there's not tons out there on this case as well. Dawnita, when I said she had a rough time, she did spend some time in jail for assault and battery at a bar and things like that. I mean, she had 6 kids. So she was a very busy woman. And it sounds like she had some other things that she was dealing with. So anyone with information on Dawnita Wilkerson's disappearance can call Evansville Police at 812-436-7979 or the FBI Indianapolis Field Office at 317-595-4000. Or you can email find Dawnita Wilkerson at gmail.com and the family will take it from there. So, okay, guys. After Monday's really rough cases, I was feeling the need to be lighthearted. Okay. So I created something just for you guys. And if JT is still on, JT is probably going to bust a gut laughing. But here we go. Missing person alert. Last seen chasing dogs to pet while sipping on her favorite Sauvignon Blanc. Teri True Crime has gone AWOL. Rumor has it she was spotted in pursuit of a fluffy poodle armed with a glass of wine. Witnesses say she was whispering, Who's a good boy? Who's a good boy? Before she vanished into thin air. If found, please return her to the nearest bookstore or wine aisle. Reward is a bottle of red wine and a good yarn about unsolved mysteries. So I thought I would do something a little lighthearted. We all know I love Sauvignon Blanc. I love to read, and I want a shirt that says "Must pet all dogs," because no matter where I am, I see a dog, I go up and say, "Hey, is it okay if I pet your dog?" So thought I would do that. We have some great cases coming in the future. That's the only ones I have today. I can tell you that I am talking with a family member of a missing person this afternoon and trying to get that family member booked to be on the show live next week. Once I get that confirmed, I will make sure I let everybody know on our socials and put it on the Discord so that everybody will know. Also, please be sure to send your missing person cases so we can cover them. Also, I'm going to start doing YouTube shorts when I get Amber Alerts or I see Amber Alerts. So if you get an Amber Alert where you live, send it over to me. And I will try to do a real quick thing about it. Usually with Amber Alerts, there's not a lot of information, but I figure the more we can get the word out there, the better the chances are for them. So, for example, there was an Amber Alert last week. I was going to jump on and cover it. A 16-year-old was taken from Costco in San Antonio by a stranger. Luckily, within several hours, police found the woman and found the child. So if you see any Amber Alerts, you can send them to me on Facebook Messenger, or you could send them to me Discord, email them, however you want to get them to us. And I also want to say thank you all for asking about Jasper. It's been a little stressful, but he's hanging in there. And I hope you all have a great weekend. I am getting ready to travel to Abilene, Texas, and take care of some stuff at my mother in law's house. So I am going to ask you all to have a great weekend. I will see you next week. Don't forget to catch all of our productions here on our YouTube channel so that you don't miss anything. Because let me tell you, the Hey Ho Show is a riot. Rude Boy and JT are amazing. Um, we're gonna have to maybe one day, JT, do a threesome with you, me, Rude Boy, and I mean, not literally, but on the Hey Ho Show. You know what I mean. So until next time, watch out for crime, enjoy your wine time, and since it's Wine Wednesday, feel free to have two. Bye, guys.